session 8 of Impossible Landscapes. The recap is at the end of the last session, August of 1995. You guys determined that the McAllister building must go up in flames or be destroyed. The method is to burn it down to the ground. Agent Mosby and Agent Mailman take upon that task and go find a gas station, port the gas down the streets of New York to the McAllister building, breaking into the basement, pouring gasoline all over the place. The two agents that aren't actually here in this session go fake. Strange coincidence.
Bastards.
Gaming reflects reality. Art mimics life. Vice versa. I don't know. Anyways, and as you guys came out of the McAllister building before burning it down, David Langford, the cable guy that Agent Mignon found amongst the night floors in the McAllister building, he kind of walks off into the distance. Who knows what happened to that guy? You guys go back to the hotel to figure things out, and Agent Mignon is taken some sanity loss and is not altogether himself. So I think Agent Mignon, Agent
Mantillo.
I don't really recall off the top of my head like what you guys were pondering.
We went jogging through the streets, maybe grabbed a cab, depending on how far we were, to go to the fire, because I think mostly to make sure that no crazies were getting out of the building.
Right. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, so you guys went back to the building to kind of, at a distance, back to the scene of the crime. Like, the
scene of somebody else's crime.
Right.
Someone else's crime, for sure.
For sure.
We just got here.
Agent Mailman fumbles the stealth check. Agent Mosby's fine. Who knows what came out of that? So I figured one of the things of Delta Green is to cover things up. That's what you guys were attempting to do. But a couple loose ends. One major loose end is Langford, right? And with that, the fire department enters the building. They lose two of their own firefighters somewhere. They were to go to the roof, ironically enough, to see, to make sure and clear the building, right? And in so doing, the rest of the fire department has wondered where that they have two people that have been lost. So Langford takes off, and you guys don't know how or what happened, but in the news, you've heard that he was arraigned to be arraigned in court on suspicion of arson and in the endangerment to life and things of that nature. Now, some of the things that have transpired, there's some questions on Mr. Langford's mental state. But what he has said is that he's, mentioned a couple of his experiences, which people are finding probably pretty hard to believe. Yet at the same time, it catches also the attention of Detective Giordana of the New York Police Department, who was in charge of finding or investigating the disappearance of Abigail Wright. So there's a couple things that's going on. He probably heard that the building burnt down. A guy has been apprehended. He is in charge of a case. The address is not lost on him. He met some agents that were to investigate or help catalog some of the things out of Abigail Wright's apartment. So there's a few things going on. So where are these agents that the detective knows about? And these people that David Langford had met somewhere in the mix. So starting this session, I mentioned that in Impossible Landscapes, we're fast forwarding the timeline to 2015 in Boston, which will come up in just a moment. But having said that, without going into, okay, let's play all of this out and determining what has taken place, we can do small vignettes on what that might look like. That could impact your situation with your employer, your personal life, your bonds. With page 38 of the handbook and taking at least one option from there, under the damaged veteran rules, there's extreme violence, and it has some tweaks to your character. There's captivity or imprisonment. There's hard experience, and then there's things man was not meant to know. So there's one of 4 things that you're going to pick, because we are going to forward the timeline. You become what's considered a damaged veteran, mechanically and role-playing wise. Now, having said that, with the vignette, it could be just, I lied low and we move 20 years into the future, but your jobs might have changed, your assignments may have changed, your personal lives may have changed. 20 years is a long time. In addition to that, I'm not saying that you would not have been involved with another operation or 2 or 3 or whatever in those 20 years. That's entirely up to you. But rather than play them out, obviously, for the purposes of this campaign, we're just going to go to the 20 years forward. Thoughts?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready to do my vignette.
Okay. Harrigan?
Yep.
Okay.
All good.
Okay. I didn't know if you guys would be prepared to bring anything to the table and on the spot. I know many.
Not
of
a
you
lot,
guys,
but enough.
okay, and that's fair.
Yeah.
It could be very brief.
A very small vignette. It's like a locket size
Fair.
vignette.
Fair. Okay. We'll start out with Lou, or Jeremiah Gladstone, aka Agent Mignon.
Who is now doesn't know anything about Agent Mignon and goes by Jerry Gladstone, his new author name. That's his pen name. After
Jerry.
After Jerry, after the ordeal in New York, he kind of disassociated himself with everything that he had done and believes that it is a strange dream or some mixed memories and not really what has happened, and has no longer been practicing archaeology. Went home for a while. His grandfather, his close grandfather, Pappy Rowland, passed away over these last 20 years. That was pretty tough for him. He's been dealing with bouts of depression, and part of his therapy was to write. And in so writing, he started writing about the McAllister building and the things that he saw. He becomes a world-acclaimed author. They are amazed at how he can come up with all these strange things out of space and time and make it seem so real. He latches onto that and has ditched the bow tie and the sweater vests for more comfortable attire like Hawaiian shirts. And
Boonie hats.
He is kind of chilling. He has not been approached by Delta Green at all in the 20 years. I think they realize he's kind of a loose cannon, and it's probably better for him to think that it never happened, and for the stuff for him to write about to think that the populace thinks it has never happened. That's just fiction. And that's really about it. But he does deal his bonds with his best friend Kennedy Biltmore is pretty solid. That seems to be his best bond right now. His bond with his sister and his 4 brothers, it was kind of held together by Pappy. So once he passed away, that bond is still there, just not as good as it was. And the bond with his ex-wife is fast going to the wayside with his newfound fame. In a nutshell, that's Jerry Gladstone.
So where is Jerry in 2015?
2015,
The fall of 2015.
fall of 2015, he has a book signing for his newest book, Don't Go Up the Stairs. And he is going to be in Boston making the circuit of Barnes and Nobles to sign his book, his latest book.
All right. Fantastic, man. Bravo. Well done. Edwin
Jerry.
Harrigan.
You
Yep.
got something, Edwin? Want me to go?
I'm happy to talk my way through what I think might have happened.
Do it.
So, Staff Sergeant Mantillo returned.
It's actually
to
not
her-
Staff Sergeant Mantillo, is
Not
it?
anymore. Not anymore.
No, but that's
Staff
her
Sergeant-
agent
yes, you're
pseudonym,
right.
right?
Yes,
Her,
yes, yeah,
her
she
real
was,
name is
Leahy. That seems Leland. Leland? That's a weird ass name for
He
her.
doesn't know.
you don't remember your character's real name? That's fantastic, man. Way to
He's
go.
in deep. It's in deep.
It's I can help you out. It's
I think I might have it too, but you probably have it.
I thought it
faster.
was Perez at one point.
Perez sounds. Yes, it was definitely Perez.
It was
Yes,
Perez.
Perez is good. Perez is good.
I think you changed. Did you change it to
That's what happened. Yeah, I
Leland?
think that's no. I think I changed it from Leland, and I missed it in the notes here. So
Samantha Perez, Agent
Yeah.
Tom from
Yeah.
Sweetness.
there we go. Okay.
So she
yeah,
got
Staff-
so rattled she forgot her actual name.
Forgot her name and started going by
Indeed.
Mantillo, which, if I remember correctly, actually has a Mantillo. Napa Superior is no, Mantilla. Mantilla is a shawl. I think Mantillo had some meaning also, but anyway, Staff Sergeant Perez returned to her duties as a mechanic, and then in 01, 02, she got sent overseas on the War on Terror and had a pretty long and brutal time in the Mideast and North Africa. I think she no longer has. Well, first of all, she was no longer working on a U.S. soil base, and so there was a lot of grief there. And she was also no longer under the sort of wing of Sergeant Alvarez, her former boss. And she was actually working as a mechanic as opposed to working as a trainer. But so she had several years, and I think she did get called by Delta Green to go investigate a few things that didn't turn out to be much in the really weird sense, but were brutal and ugly and super difficult. And she eventually made it back stateside in the sort of closer to 2009, 2010, or 2009, 2010. And she retired from the Air Force in 2014, and her brother Jorge was coming up. Basically, she retired because her brother was coming up to the U.S. from Mexico City, and the two of them have just about 9 months ago started a custom motorcycle shop north of Boston at the big traffic circle up on Route 1 there. So they've got a little, basically a 2-car garage site, and with an apartment over it, and they're seeing if they can make some fun happen.
For you, Samantha Perez, what did you choose as your damage veteran piece?
Hard experience.
Hard experience. So hard experience adds plus 10% to your agent's occult and plus 10% to any 4 skills other than unnatural.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then stand down by 5 and remove a bond. And I think she's completely lost touch with Technical Sergeant Louise Jones, who was one of the few other female mechanics that worked with her, because they just got separated 20 years ago or 15 years ago, whatever, and they haven't really seen each other. So I'll go through and do those, delete her, and go from there.
All right. No, that's fantastic. Well done. Lou, I don't think I got yours. Which one did you pick for?
I did the unnatural. It was a continuation of what happened. And it kept coming back to me, that's when I went into my bouts of depression. So that was my, besides the depersonalization disorder that I already had, I now have depression also.
So you took the things man was not meant to know?
Correct.
Okay.
Things Jerry was not meant to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Jerry, man or woman. Yes.
Or Jerry.
Or Jerry.
Yeah.
So you get plus or 10% on non-natural, adds 20% to the occult. So where is your occult score now?
84.
84?
Yes.
Wow.
It
Boy.
was 64, yeah.
It's like way
Man
up there.
knows the occult. Yep.
Reduce your agent's SAN by his or her POW. You
Yep.
get a new disorder.
Ooh.
And then you reset your agent's breaking point to his or her new SAN minus POW.
Yep. Did all that in my sheet.
Fantastic.
Proud noser.
Lupita.
Lupita Canetta. Before I summarize, Sean, do you need us to end up in Boston like on a permanent basis? Or can we be summoned there by the program?
I think there's some flexibility. I don't know. I don't know if it's overly important that the connections be in Boston. Like, I think the first time I would have ran night floors, it should have been maybe a little more. I could have injected a little more bondage. Hey-o, bonds.
I have a book. I still have that book.
Yes.
I have the book.
Into the
If you still
story.
have that book, there's gonna be trouble.
That might, who
It
knows?
inspires my new writings.
Yes. All right. Well, let me summarize, and then we can decide exactly how Lupita ends up in Boston, whether she lives there, whether she's visiting, or whatever. So I think she comes out of the whole experience in New York both changed, but also relatively unscathed mentally. Like, it doesn't deter her from her course, which is the federal marshals and looking after her father. She has her fling and her squeeze with Eloise Martinson, who's another marshal, and she has her troubled brother Jesus as well. So I think over that 20-year period, Lupita actually has a pretty storied career in the marshals and becomes a pretty senior agent. And I do see her called on quite a bit by the program to like move things around, to protect people, to do a lot of the shit that they don't tell you much about, where you have to just go and do a task and do a thing. You have to go to a place and move a suitcase from here to there, or pick up a file, or upload a computer disk somewhere. She does a lot of that kind of stuff over that period because she travels so much with the marshals. So she's a good sort of foot soldier in that regard. I do see. I am going to take one of those operas involves her killing an innocent person, and she has no idea why she's supposed to kill them, but she goes through with it and does it. And as a result, she's going to be adapted, Sean, to extreme violence. So I'll go ahead and make those changes here when I'm done yammering. Basically, her occult skill goes up, her SAN goes down, and she hurts all of her bonds. The occult skill going up, I'm going to attribute to the fact that we never got really deep into the backstories, but Lupita lost her mother to something unnatural that she's always tried to find out more about. And she has pecked at that for 2 decades now, trying to find out more. And I think the one thing she has found out is that her brother Jesus witnessed it. And it's part of why he's so screwed up and why he's been in and out of prison, in and out of drug rehab, in and out of therapy, and all the rest. So he's a mess and remains a mess 20 years later. But she has recently discovered that he knows more about what happened to her mother. And her father knows more as well, she thinks, but he's always clammed up about it. He won't talk about it. And I think Eloise, that relationship has changed, where because Lupita kept going on these Delta Green, on these program missions, without telling Eloise about it, and without giving her kind of the whole story, I think Eloise eventually got pissed off and stayed with her husband and broke things off. So I suspect that they're still friends, and Lupita probably still has feelings. And so Eloise still is a bond for her. But when you get right down to it, the relationship isn't what it used to be. And Eloise has sort of put up a wall between the two of them, because Lupita's become this, she's got this part of her life that she would never unveil to Eloise, and never even hinted that it was anything unnatural and that sort of thing. And where we could end up, Sean, is either she's in Boston on a case for the marshals, or maybe she's even tried to get some distance between her and Eloise, and she's left DC and she's been assigned to the Boston office. Whatever works for you in regards to putting her in Boston for temporary or permanent basis.
Okay.
I think that's largely it.
Okay.
So she's got a murder on her conscience, basically.
All right. That sounds right up the alley of the rest of Delta Green for sure. All right. So fantastic. We will kick this off then. If it can kick off here. The date is the 28th of August, 2015. 20 years after the events in New York City. The location is Boston. And I would say that do you go by Professor Gladstone or just Jerry now?
Just Jerry.
Just Jerry. Jerry
It's,
Gladstone.
yeah. Jerry
Dr.
Gladstone.
Does he have a literary agent, I would imagine?
Sure. Absolutely.
Probably might be a good bond.
He's only met him over the internet, though. He's never actually physically met him.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So.
All right. He's
gonna self-publish, but he was told that's for amateurs. So
yeah, of course, right, for Jerry. Well, actually, I'll back up. I'm going to start with Agent Mantillo, or Miss Perez. Something is delivered in the mail to you, to your shop, addressed to you, and you open it up. It's an envelope, and in that envelope, you slide it out and pull it. It's almost like a card that you aren't necessarily expecting. And I will show it to you in just a second.
Lives in fear of such cards.
Yeah, I don't like the where this is going already.
It's a card. You'll be fine. And when you open up the envelope, and I'll show this to everybody. That's pretty well put together as far as construction goes. There is a symbol at the top that may be recognizable, and
the triangle
immediately gets your attention.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it probably shocks you a bit, in one way, shape, or form. And what is inscribed on this particular invitation looks like to be for, and it comes, I should probably back up. This comes FedEx, by the way. And you slide it out, and it's a private birthday party for someone named Richard Ziloni. So please join us to celebrate the 51st birthday of our friend Richard Ziloni at the Gateway Bridges Restaurant, 9011 Potash Street, Boston, Massachusetts, 02121. And then there is a phone number.
That's a nice thing. I remember that real estate thing that came through with missing information too, because this fucker doesn't have any dates on it. So she gets the thing. She figures this probably means it's tonight or something because it's FedEx. She goes and tells Jorge that she's probably going to be off for a little while, and then she steps outside with her cell phone and calls the phone number on the card.
Okay. And the phone number rings, and it is the restaurant, and it's the Gateway Bridges Restaurant, and somebody answers the phone. Gateway Bridges Restaurant.
Oh, hello. I was do you have a Ziloni party for tonight or tomorrow night? Reservation,
yes.
back room,
The
something?
Ziloni party, yes. That is actually, we do have reservations, and that would be in the grand room. And that would be, let me see, let me check my books. I apologize. And you hear the flipping of the pages. That would be, that is strange here. Hold on one second. I know we just put that down. Yes, here it is. 8 p.m. on 1 September.
8 p.m. on 1 September.
Yes.
Thank you so very much. And do you the grand room, how many people does that hold?
Oh, it holds, I think, 19 people. No, 11 folks in that,
Okay.
in that
And
room.
is it when it's not reserved, is it like, do people just sit there? Is it like a normal spot to sit, or is it always just for reserved functions?
Well, this has been privately reserved for the birthday party.
But like if I came in for lunch today or something, and if like, is there a chance I'd get seated there? Or?
As long as we don't have a current event, and right now we don't have anything booked for the day.
Cool. Okay. Thanks. Have a good day. So she is going to hang up, hop on her bike, and go down to the restaurant and scout this restaurant out, because last time she got screwed over because she couldn't find anything in the hotel, and she wants to go have lunch in the grand room and walk around, look at the exits, do all that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. So you rev up the bike. What kind of bike do you ride?
So she does the American side of the shop, and her brother's into crotch rocket. So she gets on a Harley that's I feel like it's one of these real stripped down Harleys, but she's got it running really nicely. An old bike from the 60s that she has to work on more or less every day, and that keeps her mind focused. So she's riding down to wherever this is in Boston, somewhere downtown, I take it, on this big old bike.
All right. Sounds like a plan. All right. So you take off. And then we cut to Maya, Agent Maya. Lapita. And I would imagine that this would, this might come to the office or maybe probably to your personal residence in Boston. And it comes FedEx and you notice the invitation and the symbol that's at the top, green triangle, automatically gets your attention since you have been on a night at the opera prior to this, even between New York and now. Yep. And you notice the same information.
Certainly, she's gotten a few of these over the years, so this is not as much of a surprise as it might be for the others. She's going to, check the back of the card, the inside of the envelope, to see if there's anything else that she needs to pay attention to. Otherwise, maybe to save time, Sean, she would also make the phone call. She's not going to go check the restaurant out, but she is going to basically inquire. I'm asking after the party for Richard Zaloni. I've got the date wrong. Can you help me confirm, which date it is? And if they tell her it's September the 1st, she records that and whatnot.
Yeah, September the 1st. They give you the same information that they did to Miss Perez. So 8 p.m., 1 September. And one of the things, give me I wanted to just double check something.
Oh, that's not
potash.
Give me a forensics check.
Forensics. Stand by.
Now, I should probably stipulate, because this is a two-dimensional piece, like you can just see this on the screen. But this is one of those cards where it's like you've got the cardboard frame and then the kind of lint paper in the middle. And it's very finely crafted. This isn't just like a single piece of paper with type on it, right? It's not a pattern that's on a single piece of paper, right?
It's a constructed invitation.
Very, very, yes, very much so. So.
All right. So I think Lupita is, in fact, she has an apartment in Boston. She's moved there just recently, transferred to this new office to give herself some distance because things aren't working out with her old fling. And while she's sort of standing there looking at the card, she holds it up to the light by the window. She's got probably a 10-story apartment window looking out over the city. And I think she also leans over to her laptop, which is at her desk near the window, and she keys in a search for Richard Zaloni as well. So I'll want me to give you the forensics roll for the card as well.
For the card, but before you do that, you do check out Richard Zaloni, and it does not come up with a hit for Richard Zaloni. There may be somebody with the similar name, but it's not corresponding to anything in the Boston area. Okay. One of the things it may say is, do you mean Zaloni? And in which case that comes up with something a little more unique.
You mean without the I?
No, there's an I in it.
When you say, do you mean Zaloni? Like what's the alternate that's coming up with?
It takes out the first name. Takes out Richard.
Just Zaloni.
Do you mean just Zaloni?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And give me a and it will say translate underneath.
Okay. She'll certainly click that. I'm going to give you a click the Google button.
Sure. Then yes, please.
Yeah. Fumble, your computer crashes. You can't log into Zoom.
You do that, and it comes up with it. It's a translation for the Polish word Zaloni, which is Polish for green.
She just smiles and kind of expectedly when the name didn't come back. She's just thinking this is all just constructed by the program to get us, operatives in the right area. So there's nothing more to it than it just being a lure that we'll recognize, but no one else will.
Okay.
So, do you still want me to do forensics or no?
Yeah. What are you doing? Are you inspecting the card itself?
Yeah. So, like I said, she'll hold it up to the light. She's going to try to look at it a little bit. But after the search comes back, quite frankly, she's not too suspicious.
Okay.
She's really thinking that this is just something from the program that's meant to bring operatives together.
Okay. You can do. I mean, I guess it depends on how crazy you get as far as in looking at it.
She doesn't. She. But go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're not getting too much into it, then it is what it is, pretty much. The writing is a little unique. You could see the type set on the invitation as it's displayed. Looks strange in certain respects, but
yeah, she, quite frankly, once she recognizes the triangle and then the name translates as green,
okay,
I think she probably puts it back in the envelope. And the next thing you then see is her reaching for her holster and whatnot. It's probably in like a go bag by the door. She's not going to put it on, but she sort of is, making mental notes of what she's going to need. She has made the quick phone call to the restaurant as well, so she knows. I guess it's in like 3 or 4 days time type of thing, or 2 or 3 days time.
Yep.
So she's prepping, but once she thinks this is from the program, she's not going to dig into it further.
Fair enough. All right, great. Cut scene to Jerry Gladstone doing book signing, maybe before the book signing, during, after. You get a parcel via FedEx. It could be possibly waiting at your hotel. Maybe it arrives. I was going to say, maybe, Jerry, it comes from your literary agent as something that they might have found being important to bring to your attention. I don't know. What
I would
are your
say
thoughts?
it's at the hotel. I mean,
okay.
This is scheduled dates that I'm going to be at these places. So for them to find me and know where I am is pretty easy. And not everyone is named Jeremiah Gladstone, so pretty sure that they can do it. So I get back to my hotel. There's a package for me, FedEx. I'm hoping it's another royalty check, for one of my books. And I get back to my room and I open it up and I see that it's not, and I see it's an invitation. Jerry does not notice the green triangle whatsoever.
Consciously or subconsciously?
Both. Like he doesn't see it. He spent 20 years, imagining that all this stuff, didn't happen and writing about it. And it's not even in his psyche to stare at that. It's not blatant. He reads it. He becomes excited. I'm truly excited. I believe it's one of these strange invitations by maybe one of the Boston intelligentsia that wants to talk to me about my book and all the cool stuff. And I get to be in an inner circle, with the highest dilettantes and whatever. So I'm excited about it. I didn't even notice there's no date or anything. But I do contact my agent just to see if I'm supposed to know who Roger Zaloni is. So I send a message to Billy High Five at DaveSellsBooks.com, who is my agent. And so I'll wait for him to get back to me. And while I'm doing it, I'm just fooling around on the computer. I'm very nervous, and I flip pages and I do things, and I think I noticed that the corner of this invitation is peeling off, and it really bothers me. And I keep staring at it and I keep picking at it, because it shouldn't be peeling off. I don't notice anything. I mean, the letters look strange to me, considering I stare at fonts and all kinds of ancient writing and my archaeology stuff. Does it easily peel off? Is it like, oh, this is gonna fall apart? Do I want to run and get tape?
Probably to some degree. It looks off, like it's not centered, right? It's canted a little bit, and part of the corner sticking out of one of the frames, and you can kind of pull apart the frame from kind of the linen printed piece of the invitation. And as you do that, it does reveal a hidden area of paper that you hadn't previously seen or noticed. And as you take that out, it has a large portion of handwritten text scribbled in ballpoint pen.
I'm just thinking, oh man, this is like totally like National Treasure, or like the Masons. They finally are going to accept me. I've been sending them letters for 20 years.
Or that time in New York.
I don't remember anything about that.
Yeah.
So, sure. Again, I just think it's like the stuff I write about, and I'm thinking maybe this is just someone having fun with me. So sure, I read it, whatever's in there.
Okay. And you pull it out and it looks like this. And what it says on the piece of paper is, for interpretation and audio listeners, our London business is good, but Vienna and Berlin are quiet. Mr. D. Lloyd has gone to Switzerland, and I hope for good news. He will be there for a week at 1496 Zermatt Street, and then goes to Turin and Rome, and will join Colonel Perry and arrive at Athens, Greece, November 27 or December 2. Letters there should be addressed King James Boulevard, 3580. We expect Charles E. Fuller Tuesday, Dr. L. McQuaid and Robert Unger, Esquire, left on the XYX Express tonight.
So again, I'm reading it, looking for my name, looking for anybody that I know. But when I get to the bottom and I see the seal,
yes,
I think that gives me a problem.
Yes, I would think
That
that it
absolutely 100% gives me a problem.
It does for sure.
So I'm going to go ahead and make my sanity check now.
Go ahead.
So I got to close the letter. Sweet. Yep. Sweet.
one sanity.
So a rush of memories go in there. Flashes of the building, flashes of watching the flames on TV, of the crazy circle that I took pictures of and took notes of everything that was in the room, and the research that I did in Crowley's book on Person and all that stuff. And I need to sit down. I start sweating, and I realized that was me for this short minute.
Yeah. So for what Jerry Gladstone has witnessed is after the writing down in the lower right corner is a gold foil stamp with a strange symbol and the letters PURSON. And Jerry knows for sure what that is in reference to. And then as you see that symbol, and you're in the hotel, are you at the desk or in your room?
No, I was in my room.
Yeah.
I took it back to my room and read it.
And as you look at that symbol and you start to sweat, a fire alarm goes off. Bang, 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 bang.
That's a lot of sweating.
I think for the first few bangs, I don't even hear it. It's kind of like in the background because I'm in my thoughts. And then I realize it's going off. And then obviously the strobe is going off in the room on the alarm.
That's right.
I don't even know. I'm just kind of in a daze, and I have the letter. I'll stick it in my pocket. I'll grab my laptop and whatever my small personal effects bag that I was using when I go to the signings. I leave the rest of my stuff there, and it's actually a good idea. Maybe I get out of the small space of the room and get out into fresher air.
So you
I'm
start
just gonna walk.
packing up your gear and it's kind of rattled a little bit, and you go to grab the doorknob of the handle. Not a lot of doorknobs in hotels anymore. And as soon as you do that and you twist downwards, the alarm goes and stops.
I close my eyes. I take a few breaths. I've had a few panic attacks, and again, it flashes back to 20 years ago when I heard a similar noise of car horns going on outside, and the correlation that it has to person, because I still remember all that stuff. I'm well studied in the occult. I still exit the room. I stop for a minute. It stops. I still take my stuff and exit the room.
All right.
I need fresh air.
All right. So camera is on Jerry as he has his stuff in his hands, opens the door, the alarm stops. He continues through the door and the door closes behind him. All right. Now, fast forwarding to the day in question, is there anything that you guys want to do before maybe going to the restaurant? I know, Perez, you are on your way, and I realize that's the same day. So is there anything else? Like, Jerry, are you doing anything that day yet in response to getting the invite? Jerry?
I'm sorry. Besides the invite,
Yeah.
I am going. There's no date on it. I was just going to literally stalk the place.
Okay.
So eventually, I'm still going to do my book signing thing. I need to keep my regular schedule. It keeps me, regular, and then I will go to that address often. Just looking around, seeing things, and maybe one day I notice somebody when I go by there. But I don't think I'm going to find out a date. I don't know if I really want to do this thing, but I can't just ignore it entirely.
And who's your agent's name again? What was your agent's name again?
My book agent?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's Billy High Five at davesellsbooks.com. So I'm assuming his name is Billy.
At Dave Sells Books.
Still davesellsbooks.com.
Okay.
Yeah. It was the cheapest agent. He wanted fractions of percents. So,
Yeah. More money in your pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like you've gotten him rich. I mean, you've done well by him. If you're a world-renowned author,
I wouldn't know. And world-renowned doesn't mean I sell it. They just know who I am. Doesn't mean they buy the books. They just know who I am.
It's on sale in more than one country.
And is it world-renowned in Jerry's head or in the general population?
So
the rest of us read these books.
I did translate it into Armenian because I speak that language. Unfortunately, it's like the smallest population Asian / almost Middle Eastern country. So maybe it wasn't smart to translate it into that first. But I also translated it into Russian because that is the other language I speak. So I'm big in Russia. I'm big in Russia, apparently. So.
Yeah.
Lapita, where are you going to do it? I think you're the only one that may or may not be doing anything this day yet.
She's not. So on the run up to the actual birthday, what Lapita does is try to arrange work so that she can get the time off the day of the birthday and basically succeeding days. So she's actually expecting she's going to bring her go bag in the car And she's kind of expecting once we have the meeting that she's going to be off and running on something for the program. So beyond that, she's kind of going about her normal routine, going to work, but trying to angle for, I need a few days off next week type of thing.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. Then going to Miss Perez. Takes you a few minutes. You end up getting to the address that's on the invitation.
Nice day for it.
It's fall. It's getting it's getting a little cool,
August,
but not too
August. It's gonna be hot.
bad. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say August? August, yes.
It's all muggy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got a sweat going there.
So it backs the restaurant itself backs on Gateway Park, which is a small stone-walled municipal park that empties at sundown, typically. I would imagine somehow, I don't know if you're going to go up to the restaurant, you're just hanging outside. What is that? Yeah, I mean, you pull up and I guess it depends on where you want to park, on the street, across the street, if you want to pull in the parking lot.
I will pull right in the parking lot. I will light a cigarette and walk around the building, take a look at the back entrance and that kind of thing. And then when I'm done with my smoke, I'll go in and ask for a table, and if it's possible in the grand room, for lunch.
Okay. Walking around the restaurant, you notice the park. You also notice that there is an area behind that have a decent amount of bushes that would probably allow you to, I don't know right at this moment, but it would probably give you a vantage point in if you wanted to surveil the restaurant sitting in the bushes to see what would be occurring. Just something you happen to notice with some of the experience that you have.
Yeah. I probably actually, if I do notice that, I'll probably actually go and kick around a little bit and make sure there's nobody in there surveilling the restaurant.
Okay.
She's gotten a little paranoid about that kind of stuff.
Sure. You don't happen to notice anybody watching the restaurant or you noticing anything suspicious. Anybody that comes or goes seems to be, customers that are eating something. I would say that there is a good chance that you do notice you do end up going there, Jerry, visiting the restaurant
every day. So I actually miss my next book signing in Augusta, Maine.
How can you not
if we
come
go
up to
by
Augusta?
days of the week, the 20th of August 2015 was a Thursday, I think. So that means next week I was supposed to be in Augusta, and I don't. This is still kind of freaking me out. I'm almost expecting to see Marcus, but then I do the math and I'm like, I don't even know if he would be around. There's no way he could make it. So now that my book signings are over, we're in Boston, I'm spending a lot of time there. I may leave to go get lunch and then come back, but I just find myself drawn back to standing outside, just looking and figuring out what's going on.
All right. And that's the same day you get the invite, correct?
Yeah. And then each day I'm just going to continue to do it each day after that.
All right, Perez. You do notice somebody watching the restaurant. Mm-hmm. And Jerry, do you go there in a similar fashion as Perez, or do you go in to dine there?
I don't even go in. I don't think I have the courage to go in at this point. Right. So I'm literally looking outside. I'm looking for the smoking man who's going to tell me what I need to do, or I can't I can't leave. Like for some reason, I just need to know. Even if I see them, but I run away. Like that's in my head already. It's like they haven't called me in 20 years. This is all coming back. I just want to see if this is real again, because I'm still not entirely sure it's real. So if I see someone I recognize, it's probably going to bring it very real to me.
So you are not, I don't think either one of you are being overly discreet or stealthy.
Not at all.
So I would say
it's hard. Yeah. I would probably not be stealthy in this get up.
Right.
But
fit right in.
So I think Perez, as you come around the building and opt to maybe go in and grab something to eat or check out the grand room, you might look across the street and you catch a very familiar eye. It's as if you were walking in a grocery store and you saw somebody you knew, but it's been 20 years. Looks a little odd, out of place. You remember
Always does.
Probably remember him being a little dressed a little bit differently with the bow tie, a little bit more uptight. So it takes you back. He looks more like a more of a tourist, outside of his element. But you do recognize
swears under her breath.
You see,
God damn it,
Agent Mignon. And at the same time,
fish out of water, just like walking on the sidewalk.
And Jerry Gladstone, you see Agent Mantillo come around the corner of the restaurant, kind of on a leisurely stroll.
Yeah, she's got a pretty well-worn black leather jacket. She's got a bag over her shoulder, which I think you're used to. Greasy jeans and black biker boots.
And I think to myself, out of all of the team, why Mantillo?
Very mutual.
So 20 years, the things that you notice of each other are probably your eyes and your facial features. That the dress attire for both of you is completely different for 20 years.
Oh, definitely. But I see visions of the events, in my dreams, and I write about all the stuff. So I'm very descriptive. I almost think it's too easy for me to realize it's Mantillo, just because I keep it fresh without really realizing I keep it fresh.
So she stops, just kind of rolls her eyes, swears a little bit, and then instead of heading into the restaurant, turns and walks across the street, just sort of like walking through traffic to get to Mignon.
And I just wait. I'm not the assertive one, so I wait and totally thinking about what's the first thing I'm going to say. And I come out with something just stupid, like, fancy seeing you here.
Yeah, it is fancy. A couple days early.
What?
It's on the 1st. You want to have lunch?
So I realize not in like military garb anymore, or like, dress down fatigues, and say, you still doing the service thing, or?
Nope, got out a year ago. Finally.
Yeah. I'm not really doing the scientist thing either. The professor thing.
No,
some may say I didn't do it when I did it. So.
Oh, yeah. I guess I never really did know what you did science-wise, but.
No, I write books now. I still still using my brain. And,
right.
It's almost as soon as, like, now that I'm talking to Mantillo, I'm back into like beta male again. Like I'm like, oh, okay, Mantillo, whatever Mantillo says, I'm gonna do. And I follow her into the restaurant. There's no way I would have went in by myself. There's no way. But now that Mantillo's here, and she's like, all right, I I just go.
So I was just coming in early to scout the place out. So maybe we'll grab some lunch, catch up a little bit on old times. That sounds like fun. And then I just want to see where the doors are, that kind of thing. The usual drill. Realizing that
Yeah.
he's never known the usual drill. But I remember he likes that kind of thing. Like, I have this memory of him being really excited about like
procedure. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
and
playing cop and stuff.
I'm very quiet and just following procedure. But I do say the thing like, so you got a thing, right?
Yeah, I got a thing.
I'm still trying. I was still hoping it was just a chance meeting in Boston of someone I knew 20 years ago, but apparently that's not it. And
now I wonder if if they got the two of us, you ever see any of the others?
No. I just kind of
Marcus.
No idea. And
Well,
you can see how like I really have to try to remember these people because I've done so much to not remember them.
Well, he must be like 70.
I don't know. Some days I feel like I'm 70.
You look good for 70.
And now that I realize that there is something down, I don't want to be on the street anymore. So
you still eating steak?
Oh yeah, just not. I gotta. I'm trying to. We all get older, you know how that works.
Yeah, I definitely know how that works.
I get the 6 ounce now. That's all. It's it's a thing. It's a thing. Petite.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So.
Well, I wasn't expecting to see you, and I wasn't expecting to be happy. I would not have expected to be happy to see you. But it's good to see you. It's good to see you. I'm. That's nice.
I could definitely use a drink.
What are you writing?
What am I writing? Fiction, and I'm very emphasis on fiction. And you may have heard of some of my books, Clockwork Little Lady, or Clown in the Park, or Painting of Yesterday. But I was just at a signing over at B&N over there for Don't Go Up the Stairs. That's my new one.
Fiction, huh?
Yeah, it's doing pretty well. It's doing pretty good.
I bet you've got some real clear visions on your fictional characters.
Oh yeah, it's just like some days I just wake up and it flows onto the page. It's some people ask me, like, it's how uncanny that it just the way I can describe things. It's a talent. Maybe I should have not dug around in the dirt and just went straight to writing. Out of high school, but
I'm going to give myself a little. What is it? Humint? Or there's not this psychology, right? It's just humint.
Humint, yeah.
All right, that's good. She sucks at that. Ooh, that's pretty close, cares. Though. Wow. Well, that's good. So that's keeping you in stake then.
Sure.
I've got me and my brother have got a bike shop up north of here.
Oh, nice. Like Schwinn's and BMX?
Motorcycles.
Oh. Hogs. Yeah. Okay. I get it.
Yeah. Hogs.
So you guys continue to make small talk and chat and everything, come up to speed, and you walk in the restaurant. You notice the hours. Monday through Friday, they're open typical hours, 10 to 9. Sundays, it's more like brunch hours, early morning, starting at 8, close at 2. Saturday, it's kind of a mix, kind of a longer day for the restaurant. And you walk in, and There is a wait to be seated sign. It's a pretty decent restaurant, nothing too high end. It's not, fast food by any means. And a woman rushes up to greet you and say, just 2 today?
2, please. Yeah.
And so
Where's the grand room? Do you have a table near there?
We do. We just don't have it open, just closed seating. We don't really have, it's not.
That's fine.
I hope you don't mind. But yes, you're certainly welcome to look. Are you interested in holding a party here or?
Yeah. I was thinking I might do my cousin's kids are having a thing, and I just said I'd check it out.
Sure. Oh, well, just follow me. I'll walk you past it. If, we could go on the way to the table. So she just right this way. She looks, make sure you're following her.
Follow, yeah.
And so she walks by a room. It's got a couple French doors that open up, and it's looks like it's got 3 decent sized bay windows that on each wall just opens up
to the outside.
To the outside, yeah.
Okay.
But otherwise, it's empty. Everything is, it's got the cloth, tablecloths. It's got the 2 drinking glasses, one obviously for wine, one for water, and then the set piece, or the settings for, tables that are 4 each. It looks like there's about 12 tables in the room, so it's pretty decent size.
This is in the room that we're in, or in the grand room?
The grand room.
Okay, so it seats way more than 11.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So can we go in? Take a look around?
Sure, of course. Well, how about this? Why don't I show you to your table, and then you can come back and.
Oh, perfect. That'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. So she shows you to a table, puts a menu down on one side and a menu down on the other, and she says, I'll be right back with your waters, and if you'd like, there's the room if you'd like to check it out. And she walks off. Yeah.
Thanks.
So having said that, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll pick up with Harrigan and see if we can get you some screen time, my friend.
Let's go to the Maya show.
So Maya, what do you do? What are you doing? You mentioned having a go bag ready, and
yeah, and Sean, we don't need to do 24 hours in Maya's life, because these 2 yahoos went and had lunch together.
That's fair.
But I will say, it's a lonely apartment that she has. She's clearly got a bachelorette thing going on. There's no one in her life that she's connected to closely. Her bookshelf includes some books by a Gladstone that are tucked away.
Oh,
like maybe the whole series.
Awesome. Which one's your favorite? Clown in the Park? Is that your favorite?
That's the one she's read the most, because she never saw the clown. So that's the most well worn.
Okay.
She's
Don't Go Up the Stairs is the one you don't like at all. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. But I think even though she's now mid-40s, there's probably dishes in the sink. There's Chinese food boxes that are on the counter and laid over. And in fact, after she's sort of done her thing with work and put her request in and whatnot, I think she's just watching TV. She's curled up on the couch and she's eating lo mein from the local Mexican place. So do that math. And she's just eating that by herself as it grows to night. And if at some point you want to get us together, I can see her at some point driving the neighborhood where the restaurant is, just so she knows how to get there and be on time. Sure. If you want to have a fortuitous meeting, you can do that.
One of the things that I would be curious about is, given your interest in Jerry Gladstone's works, have you ever been to one of his signings?
I think not. I think she kind of doesn't admit to herself that she even she would react to meeting Gladstone like Mantillo just did, like Perez just did, like, oh God, this guy. But I also think that she has in her calendar when his new books come out, because she's just on top of it. But she doesn't admit that to herself. She doesn't, and she's reading them just sort of like, what's this moron up to now? What's he doing? And she may not even understand why she reads his books as sort of habitually and as obsessively as she does. But she has not been to a signing. She tells herself that there's no way I would do. Why would I do that?
To keep in touch with his releases, are you on his email list?
Probably under an alias, yes.
What would be the alias?
You know what? The alias would be her real name because he doesn't know what it is.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So you
Lupita
get your
Yep.
monthly emails from Billy High Five.
That's right. Lupita.canetta@gmail.com.
Don't email that address. Anybody?
I love it.
Yes, exactly.
Please do not. Yes.
For whoever is on the other end of it.
I might have to beep that one out.
I meant 555
1212 at Gmail.
Yes, that's what I meant.
.net.
Yes, totally that.
All right. You guys are at the restaurant. They take your order. They bring you your food. It's fairly decent. The grand room is empty the whole time that you're there. Nothing unusual.
Yeah, so I go in and I check look up to see what kind of ventilation system is running, what kind of ceiling is doing. I'm just looking for. There was a lot of time when we were worried about IEDs and that kind of stuff. So I've just got real paranoid about places. So I'm just sort of checking that grand room out, and then I'll go back and have lunch.
Sure. There seems to be there's a gentleman that looks like of Latin American descent that is roaming around. Kind of looks to be kind of in charge, apparently kind of determining where everything is at, even taking some of the hosting duties from the woman that let you in previously. But the wait staff, there might be a change as the business trickles down for the afternoon and then maybe ramps up for the evening crowd. But seems as though, you can hear.
I assume we're only there for like an hour at most.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. And then you walk out?
And I'll turn to Mignon and I'll say, so it's the 1st at 8 p.m.
What's the 1st at 8 p.m.?
You got a thing, right?
Yeah, I got a thing.
Birthday
Why do you
party.
think that's why I'm here? I got a thing.
The birthday party.
Oh.
There was no date on it. Didn't you notice?
I didn't. I honestly, I didn't.
Huh.
Did you get the other thing?
What other thing?
You didn't get the other thing.
What was the other thing? I didn't know. There was another thing?
Yeah, that's another thing. And I go into my pocket, and it's like folded up, and I take it out and I unfold it, and I'm kind of reluctant, but I hand it over to Mantillo.
And it's obviously the back of the invitation?
It's not the back of it.
Or the inside.
The
back of
it's a piece of paper.
Right.
No, it was a piece of paper stuck in there. Yeah, it's just a piece of folded up old paper. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't have anything else in the envelope. I just had and she'll pull out her invitation. I just had the invitation. She kind of reads over this. I don't know what this nonsense is. Does any of this stuff make any sense to you?
No, I was gonna Google some of their names and see what this was about.
I wonder if it's some kind of code or. Now she's all nervous again because she missed that meeting 20 years ago, and she's like, "Oh shit, I'm already behind, and I'm 2 days early."
Lupita, you drive. What kind of car are you driving?
She drives a Yukon SUV.
Yukon.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, V8 baby.
And you drive past. You come. You got your address. where you're going, and you drive up to the restaurant. And as you're driving up to it, you see two individuals standing outside, both have something in their hand. And you drive by, and you notice these two jokers standing outside the restaurant, and you immediately recognize both of them.
Is it dark by now?
It's probably,
so.
it's still August, so it's probably
It's
still
August,
light.
yeah. So till
Yeah, I thought we had lunch.
8:30.
Yeah, these guys aren't going at
okay.
7:00 at night.
Okay. And when you said it was lunch, you guys
I
had.
thought we were there for lunchtime.
Probably
yeah,
like
lunchtime,
a late
yeah.
2
lunch.
in the afternoon at latest.
So Sean, were you going to say something, or can I narrate what Lupita does?
They do not. You guys see a car kind of drive by a Yukon by chance, but yeah. Go ahead, Lupita.
So the brake lights just touch for a minute, and you guys see it kind of slow down a little bit, and then it stops, and then the reverse lights come on, and there's a bit of a heavy foot, a little bit of a as it comes back, and it pulls to a stop, and then the dark power window, comes down, and it's Lupita inside with her mirror, federal sunglasses on, and she's like, "What the fuck, you two? What's going on?"
Maya, shit. It is old home week. I wonder if the others are coming. And she'll walk up to Maya and hold her hand out into the window for a awkward shake over the,
the big SUV door.
Yeah.
Yep. Lupita says, "What's going on? Are you two? You got an invitation, right?"
She'll hand Mignon's paper to Maya and said, Mignon had envelope had this thing in it. Now I know he's just like, oh shit, it's getting out of my hands. She just hands it to her. Mignon's envelope apparently had this
Lupita's eyes, when she meets eye contact with me, I avert my eyes because I'm still like ashamed of what I saw 20 years ago. Because I may or may not still have that book.
Uh-huh.
And she knows I may or may not still have that book. So, yeah. Hi, Maya.
Mignon, she says, as she looks at the
like all business. She's all business.
She's all business. She looks at the insert, kind of looks over both sides. She pulls her own out. Sean, does it look like hers has anything inside of it?
Do you kind of?
Yep.
Check.
Yeah, she'll kind of bend it. She'll check the edge.
Yeah. Sure enough, there is a piece of paper hidden inside your invitation.
Oh, it was in the invitation. I thought it was just in the envelope. Shit, I bet I have one too.
And I think to myself, I should have waited to show it to someone else other than Mantillo. I knew it.
Mantillo,
She was the only one there.
Do you rip yours out? Seeing this?
Yeah, no, that I'll take mine out too.
Same thing. Pull it out.
So is all this envelope opening that's going on, the power locks, you hear all 4 power locks on the car. She's like, "Get in."
Where are we going?
Just out of plain sight while we open these.
As usual, Jerry gets in the back seat.
Beta male.
He sits right in the back seat.
Yes,
even though he's taller than Mantillo.
Yeah. So Mantillo
would like
walk
the
around
leg
the front
room in
and
the
hop
front.
in.
But it is a Yukon. So
Are you as excited as you were for Sweetness? You seemed pretty anxious and excitable back then. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I am just relieved that there are people here to aid me, because again, I didn't even know what I was going to do. There was no way I was going in that building. But I think now that 2 people I know, I'm along for the ride. I just got to see where it goes again.
So as the 2 doors close, I think Maya just has her signal on to show that she's pulled over, basically. But she does say, "Do you two still do work for the program? I haven't seen you around."
Off and on. Yeah.
No, not me.
It's mostly overseas, though.
I didn't think they wanted me anymore. I thought I was broken goods.
You just see Maya's eyes in the mirror, and then back down to her.
So I look in the 3rd row seat, and there's a bag there, and there's a corner of one of my books sticking out of her bag. I know it in a heartbeat. I don't say anything, but I know.
It's the one
I
you
know.
just wrote. What's the most recent one? Don't go up the stairs.
Don't go up the stairs. Yeah.
That's what
one
it
I
is.
was doing the
She's
signing
not
for.
done with it yet.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's in her bag. Yeah.
I wonder how it ends.
So when she's
Fire.
yeah, I know, and I'm like, okay, and I'm just gonna keep that to myself.
So, Sean, are these other two inserts, are they exactly the same or are they different?
They're exactly the same at
Handwritten.
first glance,
Handwriting?
as far as you can tell.
So Maya's just like, what does this mean exactly?
I think we got to get somewhere, and let's.
She doesn't recognize the demon symbol the same way that
Right.
Jerry would.
Yeah.
So she's not as struck by it.
Does this mean we're supposed to not actually go to this birthday party, but we're supposed to go to Europe or some bullshit?
No, I can't imagine that. This paper looks so old. I don't even.
Maya says no, and she holds up her invitation and kind of just flicks the top where the triangle is. She's like, "This is the start of an opera of some kind."
Well, yeah, exactly.
We're about to be briefed, and when I looked at the guy's name, Sean, was it Polish? You said
Polish, yeah.
Yep.
It means green. So
that's good.
So,
that's real good.
Yeah.
Just sitting there, I just started Googling on my phone because it is 2015. Colonel Parry. Does anything come up for Colonel Parry?
No.
Okay. And then I go between the two front seats where they
Sean
are.
is not a yes and GM.
That's
Colonel
fine.
Parry?
That's fine.
No.
Yeah, is that what it says on there? It says
Yeah,
on the insert.
Turn in Rome and
Yeah, John
join Colonel Perry.
Yeah, I
And
figured that would be the most prominent name on there, Colonel.
Charles E. Fuller and
I mean,
Dr.
there will be some hits pretty much on
anything, it'll just
right?
it'll be like there's like 50 Colonel Parrys in which country, like I don't even know. So, but I lean in the front and I look at both of them and I'm like, can you believe we did stuff like this without the internet? This is crazy.
Lupita, you can give me a forensics roll at a +20.
At +20. Okay. Give me a second. Forensics.
Ooh, damn.
I did not add a 20 to it, but I made it anyway.
Yeah, you did.
15 out of 30.
So you know that this is a request exemplar. Do you know what a request exemplar is?
I do not.
It's typically used as that it's been used in your line of work to determine writing patterns, right? So you would have somebody like, if you were trying to, for example, compare signatures or somebody who wrote a letter, and you had a suspect, you would have the suspect write a letter. And then you would take the writing patterns and compare it to something that might be evidence to see if that person could indeed be the person that wrote the original, right? So it's basically gibberish portion, right, of text that you give them to do. So it's like, the lazy fox jumped over, right?
That's cool.
So it's
are all three the same handwriting?
They are. Mm-hmm, yes.
So we have three separate handwritten examples, not copies or facsimiles of the same stuff, the same note.
Correct.
Okay. So she'll say that. She'll say it looks kind of like what a forensics team would use to try to nail down someone's handwriting. I've already forgotten what it's called. Something exemplar.
A request exemplar.
Request exemplar.
Yes.
You learn playing this game.
Learning.
Yes, and it is also handwritten for each, right? It is not.
Each one is handwritten.
A copy. It is each handwritten in ballpoint.
Right, so subtle differences, but more or less the same.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's probably important then.
Maya is now more disgruntled than she's been all day. Before she was like, this is going to be, because like I said, she's been on quite a few pickups, drop offs, go to a green box and retrieve something, all that kind of stuff. Now she's like, what the heck? Why? What is this? Why would they give each of us one? They're all the same?
Maybe one of us didn't show up or something.
I guess.
I mean, I bet the others are going to be on with us too.
You think? Have you seen or
I haven't
kept
seen
track
you.
of?
I haven't seen anyone. I haven't seen Marcus or anybody since then.
I specifically us,
Isn't
as I look at all three of us. I said we haven't worked together in 20 years. I haven't even worked at all in 20 years.
That's true.
Maya says, you know why?
I haven't worked, but I get paid. Okay.
You know why? Then she says, isn't Mosby in prison still?
And I
Come on, Sean.
stare.
Run with it, Sean.
I stare again at the symbol on the bottom, and I try to remind them that is the symbol from that was involved the last time.
Is that the dude who drove the car, the chain, the something? There was some devil out in the street there.
There could have been. I think that's chapter 3 of the painting of yesterday. But if we need to recount, yes, the fiction. Yeah.
Maybe next time I retire, I'll read your books.
Sean,
and I get cold feet now. I get nervous. I tell both of them. I said, I don't know if I could do this again. I really don't.
I don't know if you could do it the first time, but I mean, you made it through, sort of.
Didn't exactly.
A lot of therapy.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know
Sean,
how it ended. It's weird.
In all of Maya's work after New York, has she ever seen Marcus again, or had him as a handler again?
You might have had him a little bit later, like one mission.
Okay.
So outside of the game, probably before it became a program.
Oh, so before 2000, 2001, when we were still cowboy time frame. Okay.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah.
Lupita might have heard some inkling of what that was about, maybe, but you were never really clear. But Marcus hasn't handled you since that time.
So was the 90s, basically.
Yeah.
So she will say, I wonder if we're gonna see Marcus again. I haven't seen him since the late 90s.
That's what I saw him. Shit. Well, so he survived though, huh? At least till then.
I saw him a couple of years later. I haven't seen him since. It's been almost 20 years.
How was he? I mean, he was
the same.
Off his rocker when we were gonna say him, huh?
The man's got problems.
Well, that's no surprise. I mean, we all got problems.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I just came out to scope the place out. I've got to finish up a couple bikes before. I mean, if this seems like a real deal, we might be gone for a week or so or whatever. So I got to get some stuff cleaned up and make sure my brother's all set, and then I guess I'll see you guys in a couple days.
You need a lift?
No, I got my bike right there. And
he looks out the window. Oh, sweet.
It runs, and she'll hop out of the truck, and as she's leaving, she sort of remembers that Mignon is in the back seat, and she'll turn to him.
I totally noticed that no one was offering me a ride. No, I did. I totally noticed it and everything.
I'll see you in a few days. Have a good whatever you're up to.
So Mantillo, as you approach your bike, you reach in to grab your key out of your pocket. And as you do so, you notice that you have like something in your pocket that you weren't sure you had in there prior. And you pull it out, and it's a cocktail napkin.
Oh shit.
Boy.
Uh-huh.
and it looks like it's got the gold initials GBR on the napkin. And you remember when they brought, your drink to your table, it had the cocktail napkin there, and you noticed that it had some writing on it. You must have slipped it in your pocket for some reason. Maybe you just grabbed it while somebody took your drink, but it was in your pocket. You pull it out, and you
She's looking
notice
for that drawing of the engineering stuff. She's like, looks at it, unfolds it, looks at the other side.
Yeah, give me a sanity check, Mantillo.
Well done, Edwin.
Let's see, skills. Something weird on I popped my character sheet out, and I feel like I will unpop that. That's weird. I was doing some weird shit. Let's see.
But yes, your intuition is right in that it looks very familiar, considering. Wow.
Made it by one.
Holy cow. All right. You don't take any sanity damage. But it strikes a nerve for sure. It is exactly that emblem you saw 20 years ago with that strange clockwork mechanical thing, because you try to decipher that thing.
Yeah.
There is no drawing on the napkin that you have, but the initials, the emblem, you notice with, like, I've seen this. This is that I know what this is what I saw 20 years ago with this crazy drawing that was on there.
I think she stops, she looks back at the Yukon. She thinks about it for like 5 or 10 seconds, and then she just stuffs the napkin back in her pocket and hops on the bike and lights it up and heads out.
Sounds good. You fire up the bike, starts up as normal, rumbles, and take off down the road, and you realize your hands are a little cooler as the sweat and the perspiration from the palms of your hands dry off with the wind.
Yeah.
As the bike goes by the Yukon, Lupita's windows down. She throws horns out the window as Perez goes by. The rumble shakes the car.
Yeah.
Then there's just the sort of the soft grumble of the V8, and she looks in the back seat and is like, "Do you need a ride?"
Yeah, I'm just parked around the corner. I have my rental, so if you could just bring me around the corner.
She nods. So Jerry, out of character, was the book, the one I mean, was that in any of your books? The Book of Prawn?
So you've read it.
That's what I'm asking.
Everything I wrote was exact to painstaking detail, except me finding that book was not in there. I have literally recounted everything except for that. And
did you note the McAllister building in New York City?
No, it's a building. All the places and names are fictional.
I gotcha.
But it's so unbelievable that no one can tie it to anything, except when she read it, it is exact. It is like she's there.
So we pull around the block. Interrupt me, Sean, if something terrible is going to happen to us. She pulls around the block.
Well, as soon as I point out my car, and there's a cherry red Fiat 500 right there, and I'm like, it's in like a spot that only it could fit in, and I'm like, hey, it's good for city driving. It's good for city driving.
Hey, that's what I drive.
It's not much of a getaway car.
That's what Edwin drives.
Is it really? Is that really your car?
It's not cherry red, but yeah, I got a little Fiat 500C.
There's a couple of guys in the gaming community. Jim drives a Fiat 500.
There you go.
The electric version. Yeah.
Oh,
awesome.
That's pretty funny. So then we get a close up of your little red Fiat 500.
Yeah.
And then the Yukon pulls up next to it, and its tire is like bigger than the driver's window, like tire as it rolls up. She's like, "Here's your car."
Yeah. So as I'm leaving, and I'm standing there, and I just look at Maya. I said, "So what's next?"
She says, "Get ready to take a few days off. Be there on time, and be ready for anything. See if anything weird happens in these next few days." I don't. She points again to the invitation with the triangle. She's like, "I thought this was just like a regular run-of-the-mill operation, a quiet opera. I don't know why they included this other insert thing and why it's the three of us. I don't know."
So he confides in Maya, considering he saw the book in her bag, and he's not very specific, but he's like, "Maya, it's been really rough for me these last 20 years. The writing has helped a lot. I don't really know if I could do this again. I'm not saying I won't. I'm not saying I can't. I guess we'll see what tomorrow brings, but just
So
I'm not the same, stout-hearted Mignon that you remember."
she just nods, but her face is actually pretty stoic. And when he says, "I'm not sure if I can do this again," there's a quick cut to Maya dragging a body down some stairs, like thump,
Awesome.
thump,
Awesome.
thump, thump. And her look on her face is just like ghastly. Like, I can't believe I had to do this. And there's a wet trail behind the body. Then we're back in the vehicle, and she just says, "Hey, thank you for not putting the book in your book." And then she drives off.